So this is going to be a guy that not a lot of people may readily recognize. I was asked about this specific player on Strawberry Ice's show. His name is Mekhi Blackmon. He is a cornerback for the USC Trojans, and I knew a little bit about him, but as I told you a while ago, really, I was more into Thule. Uh, Thule. I'm just going to go with Thule there as the guy, USC Trojans defensive player that I kept my eye on because USC's defense was atrocious last year overall. But this kid had some nice moments. You can see here he's 5'11", 178, 24 years old because he's a redshirt senior, did play at Colorado for 4 years and then moved over to USC. Ran a pretty decent 40, 4.47, 36-inch vertical, 10.5-inch broad jump for Mekhi Blackmon, a corner out of USC and Colorado. So I was asked about him. Tackles 142 total, 66 of them last year, and that's going to be a theme with him. Interceptions, he had 5 in his career, 3 of them last year, though. Took some nice leaps with the Trojans last year. Has 1 career sack. It was not last year. 25 passes defended, a career best 13 last year. So he was making a lot of plays out there. 2 forced fumbles, 1 of those last year. 2 fumble recoveries, 1 of those last year as well. But you look at the passes defended, 13 last year. There's some good reasons for that and some bad reasons for that. He's around the ball. He's active. He's very aggressive. But the USC Trojans defense got picked on quite a bit. Here's him knocking one away in the end zone. Look, this is what I want to get to here. Look at him. Look at the tug. Do you see that? The tug at the bottom of the jersey and a tug late, but then look at the ball skills to come down and play receiver. That kind of encapsulates him. I'm gonna rewind that a little bit. Let's go back to the beginning of this play. So he sticks well with guys, particularly in 5 yards, but as the worry is he going to have a lot of illegal contact, a lot of penalties in the NFL. Look at this nice play. Tips it up to himself, gets the rebound, interception. That's a nice play. Active, knocking the ball away there. Comeback route. He is a willing tackler. You see him get in the mix there on a swing pass to the running back. He does get turned around a little bit on plays, but look at him stick with this play. Not a good throw, really, but look at him stick right here. Out jump the defender, knock the ball away. That's a nice play. He gets beat here at the Senior Bowl, though, but still kind of right there. But you see that again, John, jersey tugs, right? Yeah. Jersey tugs. And I'm going to pause here for a sec. Here's the RAS. Nothing super outstanding. He does have a good composite speed grade there. You see the 10-yard split in particular. The vertical, okay. The broad jump, good. 6.57 unofficial. That was one of the more recent ones I saw from him. So here's kind of the takeaways with this kid. He has experience in the slot and outside throughout his college career. He is hyper aggressive, which is both a good thing and a bad thing. He'll tackle, but he's not big, so he may lose out on some of the tackle opportunities, but he gets in there and he makes tackles. He's got good speed, good feet, the hips, he kind of flips. I don't know. He's late to flip him around. He kind of gets turned around here and there. He's a man press guy, off man. And you mentioned how the Bengals like to play zone. So I don't know fully about the fit here. He does recover well. You saw that, but sometimes the recovery ability comes with some tugging and whatnot. So does that, maybe add to penalties, make him a penalty machine in the NFL? I like a lot of the tenacity. I like the speed. But there's some stuff there that obviously there's some big questions with him, a guy that I was specifically asked about. So I looked a little more into him. I think, if you're looking for cornerback depth, if you're looking for a guy to round out the bottom of your depth chart, a guy to be a CB4, maybe even CB5 special teams guy, I think, you could use a day 3 pick on this guy and use that speed, use that tenacity, that willingness to tackle, use all of that and harness it into a player that can fill out the back end of your roster, back end of a position group. Not a guy, especially not right away, that you would want starting in the NFL and probably will need some coaching up. But like I said, physical, aggressive. He is older, so you're probably getting, I don't know how much there is left to coach up when he's 24 years old, right? So which is a weird comment to make because it's way younger than I am. But you know what I mean? When coaches look at a 24-year-old coming out of the draft, they look at that. So, I mean, I like the kid. The value would have to be there. There are definitely some holes in his game, though.
Quick question. Yes or no? Don't even think about it, right? Do you think he has that dog in him?
In a way, yeah. I do.
Yeah.
I think because he's got that tenacity. You can see it. I mean, he's not really afraid of contact. He's not afraid to press a guy at the line. So that's why I almost go, is a short area, maybe if you bulk him up a little bit, might he be a slot guy in the NFL where you pop, since he has some experience there, you pop him inside a little bit. And because he's got that dog in him a little bit, maybe he's a guy that can work the shorter area and eliminate some of those downfield illegal contact, tugs on the jersey type of penalties because he's working more in a short area.
Yeah, I think there's equally as much working for him compared to working against him in terms of fitting with the Bengals, because 15 career penalties in college is not going to cut it for Lou Anarumo.
Nope.
I'm just like, it's just not, right? And that was an issue with Cam Taylor-Britt early in his rookie year, right? And unfortunately kind of kept him, on the sidelines for a little bit. But the thing about older cornerbacks, or just older players in general, is that they typically stay in college for longer just because they haven't really, broken out yet. They haven't really put together that season. So having that good season, a 91.1 coverage grade per PFF last year in his final year with the USC Trojans, like, that's phenomenal, right? I think he had a lot of passer rating, just 46.1. You had the ball production, you have the physical aggression, and I feel like that definitely is something that Lou Anarumo and just the Bengals in general really value in their cornerbacks, right? But being 5'9" or 5'11" and 178, a little bit on the lighter side, that's concerning up until you realize that, okay, but it doesn't really impact his physicality. He still gets into all the business and everything, so he kind of overcomes that size. My concern with his size is that he's not a great athlete at that size, and having 31-inch arms means that, to me, that he can probably bulk up a little bit more, but how much of his athleticism are you sacrificing because of that? It seems like he'll be fine as like a spot starter, but older cornerbacks in general, like William Jackson's a great example of this, and obviously this guy's going to go in the first round like William Jackson. But his peak, William Jackson, was as a second-year, technically first-year player with the Bengals, and he was already 25 years old. And unfortunately, a lot of times the cornerbacks, you get their best years on their rookie deals because it's like 23, 24 years old. That's when you typically see like the prime of these cornerbacks. And sometimes you get cases like Chidobe Awuzie when they kind of develop into their second contracts. But that is kind of the disadvantage of just older prospects in general. But I think if you bulk him up a little bit more, like you're not going to. He's already not a great athlete, so you're not really sacrificing that much, but that might allow him to survive a little bit more on the outside, because I think just the aggressiveness and the willingness to get in there at the catch point, I think that's definitely going to help him.
Yeah, Robert Obrecht says sounds like a late round guy, which, yeah, I think he's day 3. I don't necessarily mean even round 4. I'm thinking, later in day 3. What is his size? He's about 5'10", 5'11", sub 180 is kind of what he has weighed in at. Can you see Mike Hilton in his game? I mean, it's hard to say because Mike Hilton has become a polished slot guy already as it is. He's a little smaller, is Mike Hilton, but it's similar kind of tenacity, play with your hair on fire a little bit, right? I mean, so I see it in that regard. Different builds, different players, I think, a little bit, but I'd be interested to see whether he ends up with the Bengals or not. I'd be interested to see where a team plays him. Does he end up being a slot guy because you want to limit some of those downfield penalties, but he's got, some decent quickness and other traits that you like? I don't know, but interesting player, and I was specifically asked about him, so I wanted to do a little further digging on him.